So with these three countries, so population pyramids as a whole are just a funny looking bar graph, right? You have boys on the left, girls on the right, and it can show us a lot about a country. All right, it can show us the population, but if we really dissect it, it can tell us a lot about the economic status of a country as well. So it really pulls in stuff from Unit 1 into kind of tying it into Unit 2, okay? So if we are looking at this country on the left side, what is the general shape of this population pyramid? Triangle, right? So what is that going to tell us about a country? Where's most of their population at? The younger, right? Pre-productive or pre-reproductive. Yeah. Okay, so lots of kids down here. Okay, when a country has a lot of kids, what can that tell us?
The population is going to increase.
Yeah, the population will increase one day. And it will increase rapidly, okay? Economically, what does this tell us about a country? Why do countries have... What's the question? Lex, do you have a question? Oh, okay. Why do countries have a lot of kids? What would be a reason why countries would have a lot of kids? Economically, think about it. To work, right? Okay, and what types of countries need kids to work? What? There was mixed reactions there. Yeah, LDCs, okay? So LDC countries are going to have more of a triangle population, okay? Because you're right. They need those kids to work. Also, do you think that all of those kids are going to make it to adulthood? No, why? Because they're healthcare, right? Look at the stats up at the top. What do we notice? What do we know about their healthcare? Look at the stats. It gives you the stats. Look at it. What do we know about their healthcare? Zoom in on your phone. Can you zoom in?
Are we supposed to be writing them?
If you want to. If it's going to help you remember stuff. Can't you edit it on your phone?
Yeah.
And write on it or whatever? Okay. You don't have to though. I'm just doing this to help you. Okay. What do we know about their healthcare though?
It's not good.
It's not good, right? What do we notice about the top of their pyramid?
Less old people.
It's smaller, right? What'd you say?
Less old people.
Yeah, less old people. So they don't have very good health care. What is their life expectancy? 57. Is that a lot or a little? No, it's a little. People are not living very long. There's nobody at the top of their population pyramid, okay? Most of their people are kids. So eventually, one day, their population is going to increase rapidly. But for right now, it's pretty low. It's lots of kids because they need them to work, right? So it's mostly LDC countries that are going to have triangular-shaped pyramids, okay? This country was Tanzania, by the way. I kind of wrote over it. Okay, so LDC country. In the middle, we have Peru. What's the difference about Peru's pyramid? What does it look like, shape-wise? What's different about it?
Less younger people.
Yeah, less younger people, but what do we notice about the shape? Yeah, it's pretty even, right? So when it looks more like a rectangle, it means that the population has slowed down, okay? Or I guess I shouldn't say population growth, but birth rates have slowed down. Okay? Birth rates have slowed down. Why would that be the case? Economically now. Tie this back into economics. Why would birth rate need to slow down? Or could slow down? And think about it from the video. What did they say?
Too expensive to raise a child.
Yeah, it's expensive, right? Y'all are expensive. Kids are expensive. But why do they get expensive? What types of countries are these? Newly industrialized. These are NIC countries when their birth rates start to slow down because what's happening in their economy?
More education and
More education. They talked about that in the video. What else?
better healthcare.
Yeah, their healthcare starts to increase, right? Because look at their life expectancy now, 74 years old. Okay? What big thing is happening in their economy? What's the switch from LDCs to NICs? What changes?
The baby population's getting lower.
Yeah, but economically.
Industrialization.
Industrialization happens, okay? So when industrialization happens, there's not as much of a need for kids anymore, right? Because people have moved to the cities. That's what they also talked about. Moved to urban areas, okay? Right? Do you remember them saying that, the move to urban from rural areas? Okay, so people are moving to the cities. It's not as, I think they said, not economically advantageous or whatever to have a big family because they're not needed to work on the farm anymore, right? And kids will probably live longer, so do you really want to be taking care of 10 kids as an adult, putting 10 kids through college, paying for 10 cars? No, probably not. Eventually, they'll get to that one day, right? So it's not as economically smart to have a whole bunch of kids when you're living in the city and everybody has factory jobs, right? You're industrializing, okay? And so when that happens, this population goes down, especially the kid numbers, okay? That's why it kind of tapers off, all right? One day, this number, these bottom people, right, the the pre-reproductive stages are going to move up to this stage, right, when they do have kids. And so when there's less people having kids, that means there's going to be less babies being born, okay? And then eventually they'll get up there, okay? Remember the documentary last week with Hans when he had the blocks? That was one of your questions, right? And he took those blocks and at the top, whenever the old people die, he took them off the top and then put them at the bottom, right? Because the babies were being born. And each time that those age groups move up, right? Because they're getting older, okay? So when the part at the bottom has a smaller amount of kids, there's smaller amounts of kids, when they grow up, there's not as many people having babies, okay? So that slows down the birth rate. That gives us this rectangular shaped pyramid, or even if we look over to the right, kind of inverse over there, okay? Where it starts to get skinnier at the bottom than at the top, okay? So if we're looking now to the right, it's Norway. What do we notice about this pyramid? Where are most of the people?
In the middle.
Top. Most of the people are at the top. Look at all of the people up here compared to the one to the left of it, compared to Peru.
In the middle.
Yeah, middle's probably in there. But again, compare the top of this pyramid on the right to the top of the pyramid on the left or in the middle. There's way more old people, right? A lot of old people. Old peeps. Okay? Lots of old people. What does that tell us about a country?
Better healthcare.
Yeah, better healthcare because people are living longer, right? And look at their life expectancy. 81, right? What type of country is this? An MDC for sure, okay? So when there's a lot of old people, this one normally will have less kids. Not every MDC is going to have like a really small population of kids, but a lot of their people are going to be either in the middle or at the top of the pyramid, okay? Eventually, this is going to lead to what in their population? A decrease, right? This pyramid doesn't show it as much, but when a population pyramid looks more like a triangle, that is definitely going to be a decrease, okay? That's going to be a big decrease in population. It's declining, okay? You'll definitely see that again. We're going to get into demographic transition model next week, and we'll see it for sure there, okay? But whenever you have a small amount of people at the bottom of your pyramid, right, if there's a small number of kids in the population, that means there's going to be even less people when they grow up having kids. So it's going to just eventually keep getting smaller and smaller, okay? Does that make sense? Yeah? Do you understand population pyramids? If you were looking at pyramids, would you be able to understand the connection between the population and the economics of a country? Yeah? Okay. Save this and put this on your Padlet as well.